pro wrestling.
Kids to bed, dad's home. We are the DWO podcast, representing the dad world order. I am the handsome head of household, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. And with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack. Didn't spoil anything. We got the big bad bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
Honk if you hear me.
10-4. And he is the perpetual mid-carder and the two-time world record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bocephus.
1,095 solid days wearing a pro wrestling t-shirt, and tonight's a WCW Giant shirt. It's an old school one tonight.
Love that. I love when you pull out the old school ones, man. They're always good.
That's good, Giant.
Yeah. Well, as Mr. Magnificent said, we are the DWO podcast, and tonight we have with us a very, very special guest. He was brought to our attention by the one and only Tusslemania, good buddy of ours. He is the most heavy metal pro wrestler, the Mosh-o Man, Ozzy Killmeister. Sir, how the heck are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Glad to have you on. Like I said, we found out about you through our dude Tusslemania. I actually think, so we were talking about it before the show, the reason we found out about Tussle was because of his awesome footage. And I'm pretty sure that one of the first videos I saw of him was you. It was a video with you in it. So that it's kind of a cool, like full circle moment for sure.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
He was doing a lot of CCW stuff, which is where you primarily wrestle, I believe, which we'll get into. And there it is, cruiserweight title, baby.
Pretty.
Look at all them. Look at all them trophies back there. I have one trophy back here. I got it for Christmas. World's Greatest Dad. Got it from them. So.
That's trophy.
Check that off.
That's trophy.
Dang.
Solid.
And then I'm wearing a shirt that says World's Okayest Dad. So, you know, I've leveled up.
That's 2 categories, bud.
2 for 2.
Double
depends on the day.
Save some for the rest of us, damn it.
Yeah. Well, you're in the Papaw category now. You've moved past eligibility because you're only eligible for the 18 year. Well, no, you still got 1 year. You still got 1 year. Yeah. The 18 years until they're the legal adult, then you got to be worried about Papaw.
Oh, my friend. If being a parent only ended when they turned 18.
Listen, my father-in-law just took care of me and the family by getting us one of them things that'll pump up your tire if it goes flat that you can keep in your car.
Air compressor, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a car travel one, and I always say, like, he always gets us the stuff we need the most, man. He really does. He's like,
didn't even know you needed it, and you're like, some bitch, you nailed it.
Like, perfect. Anyways,
absolutely.
So, are you a father, Ozzy, at all? Or do you have kids of your own?
I am. I'm a father to a little Mosh-o Man.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Little Mosh-o Man.
How old?
He's 7. He'll be 8 in May.
Oh,
okay.
Fun.
Rock and roll, man.
I got a 6-year-old.
He's up to here on me already.
Yeah.
I'm not a tall guy, man, and I'm screwed.
That's how you in the head here. 9-year-old man. Like I'm 6'3", and she's. I mean, dang near 5 foot at 9 years old. It's pretty wild.
It's the chicken nuggets, man. It's the chicken nuggets.
Totally is.
Yeah.
That's why Dom's got all that riz. You know,
Yeah.
he's eating all them
All them
nuggies.
nugs.
He needs to go hard into that. That needs
I mean,
to be
dude,
the next thing.
as horrible as I know McDonald's chicken nuggets are, if they're like fresh and crisp and good, they're still excellent to this day.
Surprising there's no like Raising Cane's Dominic Mysterio meal.
Oh wait, buddy.
It's the whole gimmick.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Raising Cane's match.
Oh, hey, dude, Post Malone.
Tendies on a pole match. Hell yeah.
There's a chicken company to do it, dude. That's the one.
It's a body slam into the ranch.
We know a chicken company. We know the chicken champion.
Yeah, well, that's Bojangles. Yeah, we had the chicken champion.
Bojangles.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's what
Bo biscuits, man. Those Bo-berry biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
They're great.
I have 2 bottles of the Bojangles seasoning in my spice cabinet right now. I've literally had it twice in my life, and I got friends that live down in the Carolinas, and they'll send it to me when I want it.
Nice.
So, with that being said, Ozzy, is there a food that you automatically think about when you know you got a wrestling show that you try to travel near? For me, it would be Whataburgers. I would try to book a town with a Whataburger immediately. You know, like I'm a big fan.
I'm gonna, whenever we get a second, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna get a shirt. I'll show you. But if I'm going anywhere that's not like just the regular loop that I do in Florida every month, and I go out to Tennessee and stuff, Bucky's on the way out of Florida is it. When I make my routes, I go from where I'm leaving to Bucky's. That's the first stop, and then from there we figure it out. In and out.
What else do you need?
Is the most mid food that I've ever had. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but In and Out is just straight mid. Whataburger is king. Whataburger is the best fast food period that's in more than 3 fucking states.
Have you ever eaten White Castle?
I love it so much. I stole the nut.
So originally I'm from Jersey, so I'm 1% White Castle. Like I'm forever. We have the world's largest White Castle here in Florida, in Orlando.
Really?
And it's open 24 hours, and it doesn't matter when our show ends in Kissimmee or Tampa. I make a point of making sure I get over there.
Yeah.
Dude, these breakfast sandwiches are ridiculous.
Yeah,
brother. You know, just like I have a joke of I'm built by Taco Bell because I eat Taco Bell very often. Shout out to Taco Bell.
Not sponsored, but could be.
Get on that Devontae Adams level, yeah.
Why you telling you? But you can customize if you get a crave case at White Castle, the 20 burgers, 30 burgers, whatever it is. You can customize the burgers. You don't have to just get cheese and non-cheese. You can get the spicy cheese. You can have bacon. You can do chicken stuff. It's just, you know,
bro.
You gotta
jalapeno sliders with extra onions.
Dude, I distinctly remember being in like high school, like peak, you know, going through puberty, and you're just hungry as shit all the time. And crave cases came out, like they were.
It was over. It was over.
It was, dude. If I had 2 or 3 buddies and we had some cash, we'd throw in on a crave case, and it still wasn't enough. Yeah. I took down a whole one by myself one time. I'm not super proud of that, but I did. I took down all 30.
Listen, we had a few races growing up, so I know all about that. I never made it to a full case, but my father's was 25. I remember sitting there looking at those 5 burgers like I can't do it. Yeah.
I was miserable afterwards. It was actually we did it one year. It was, so there were like 4 like all boys high schools in the Cincinnati area.
Okay.
And we unofficially had like our league was called the GCL. So we unofficially had the GCL Olympics. I don't know who let us do this, but we did it like at the field. Like everybody brought guys from each school, and we did like a dairy chug, like a dairy chug relay. Guys chugged buttermilk and run
Oh
in
my
and
God.
did a crave case rate, like just all kinds of dumb shit.
Yeah, that
And
sounds awful.
the crave case race was 2 guys from each school, and it was me and one other guy who was way fatter than I was. I was like 215 as a senior, dude. I was like leaned out and whatever, but everybody knew I could eat. And then one of our offensive linemen that was like, "Oh, I'll do great." Man, that dude had like 4 burgers. I took down the rest of them. I was like, "You're a disgrace."
See, and this is what
But we won.
happens when boys are not distracted by girls at school. They come up with cool shit like this.
Bro,
They're
that's
more worried about murder burgers.
Oh, dude, we honestly going to an all guys high school was so much fucking fun because there was no distractions. So it was just hanging out with your boys every day. You know what I mean?
you did that.
Yeah, it was fun. We just pulled pranks on teachers and stuff. The amount of times that we got our teachers to cry was probably a little criminal.
I would say I probably would have done better in school without all the girls there, but
Hey,
I digress.
you did tell us about him. We'll give you that. You told us about him too. You know, Tussle was the most recent to tell us about him. Just saying.
That's this man's belt. He made this
Yep.
belt.
Oh, that's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, the dude's an
He does.
artist,
I'm
man.
pretty sure he does all CCW belts.
He does revolvers belts too. They're fucking beautiful.
Yep.
Did great
Yep.
work.
Yep. Shout
Shout
out.
out to you.
Snaps and straps.
Snaps and straps, baby.
You made your first debut in Revolver this year. Was that your first match with Revolver? Was the scramble?
That was the first match I've had, but I think the third show I've been to.
Okay, so you've been around Revolver before, but it was cool to see because we had talked about getting you on the show before that moment, and we saw it pop up, and we were like, oh, "See, yep, we definitely got to get him on now." We are
okay. So I'm pretty unfamiliar with CCW, but obviously we got some CC Dub fans in the house here.
Ezra, thank you.
So I'm assuming CCW, is it kind of, you guys have your own little community down there? Like you have your regulars at the show, and then do you guys tour around at all, or is it in the same building every time?
So for those unfamiliar, CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling has been around almost 21 years now. It's the longest active promotion running in Florida without any breaks consistently. We do 6 to 12 shows every month. We are the biggest company in Florida. No cap, no heat towards anybody, no disrespect towards anybody. It's just the fact. We did Pompano Saturday at our school in Pompano Beach, Florida. We do Kissimmee in Old Town every month. The second Friday, we do Tampa at Magnanimous Brewing every second Saturday. We do Hialeah at the Tank Brewery every first Saturday. We do Port St. Lucie every quarter at the Mid Florida Event Center. We go to St. Petersburg at Fergs across the street from Tampa Bay Rays Stadium. We're everywhere, man. And we're adding shows. We do rentals. We take care of a lot of the other big companies when they come to town with ring rentals and professional staff, because we have a very deep roster of some of the best unrecognized talents, not just in Florida, but in the world.
Hell yeah.
And I love being a part of a company that it doesn't matter necessarily how big we are in the scheme of things, but everybody is family. There's no crazy politics. There's no wild drama. Really, it's a tight knit family. We all see each other more than we see most of our families. And then training is Monday through Thursday with Gangrel, who is my coach.
Hell yeah.
He's the head trainer of the facility, and he does an amazing job.
He's such a unique fella. I've had a couple chances to run in with him, both as a fan and then also kind of as I was helping out with a local federation. I got to hang out in the back a little bit. And he's just, I don't know, man. He was just extremely fun to be around. I like that guy a lot. It's cool to see him get a little bit of TV time as of late this past year. That was pretty neat to see him pop up.
And it's cool because he didn't tell us. He's like, "Oh, guys, I'm not going to be here tonight." "Oh, okay. Have a good night, coach." Shows up on TV. Doesn't
Well,
tell
that's the
anybody.
crazy thing. I haven't seen him on TV and God knows how long. And then he hits that impaler, and I'm just like, God, he still got it. Like, goddamn,
Oh
dude.
no, that's the craziest thing. So he, I think in the last couple of months, he had some surgeries to repair things that he's been sitting on for however long. Um, he was doing more shows than all of us, and he would go, he'd fly out Thursday and he'd be gone till Monday, and he'd hit 4 different states, 4 different shows,
Yeah.
and he would wrestle every show, 20-minute plus matches, and then he would
Jeez.
show back up, come right to school on Monday and start training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then he was right back out. He's in the gym every fucking day. He's
He looks great
he
for his
he
age.
he's
Really.
more than still got it. He never lost it. He just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just I
yeah,
think for me, it's just because I haven't seen him wrestle in since I was a kid, and I'm like,
right.
oh, he's going to come out, he might do it, and he does it, and I'm like, I feel like it's freaking 1996. Like, what's going on?
Hasn't lost a step, man. Never
Yeah,
never will. Never will.
He's
it's
55, but he wrestles like he's still early 40s, man, and it's impressive. So I wonder how
Started when
long.
he was 18.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Started when he
ridiculous.
was 18.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
I
He's damn
Years.
yeah.
he's damn near
Yeah.
doubled his whole lifespan without wrestling in wrestling. That's crazy.
So
That's a lot.
you said he started when he was 18. When did you get your start? And I have a follow-up question after you tell us about that.
Okay. So I broke into the business the old-fashioned way, I guess a lot of people would refer to it as I showed up at a show that my buddy was running, and I asked if I could help with the ring. And then it just became a monthly thing where I would show up and I would help with the ring. And then I met Gangrel at one of those shows that I was working at, and he, for whatever reason, was nice enough to pull me aside because I had gotten an opportunity to be on the show, and I completely fucking blew it. It was basically a security spot, and I didn't know what I was doing. Shouldn't have been in the spot to begin with, but I didn't know any better. And I was backstage real low on myself, and Gangrel was like, "Hey, you don't know what you're doing, but that doesn't mean you can't learn how to do everything. Uh, you didn't fuck up, you learned." You know what I mean? There's a difference between fucking up and just continuously fucking up, and then fucking up, be like, "Oh, that was hot. I shouldn't touch that again," type shit.
Yeah.
And then he invited me to his school. I did rings for about a year and a half, and then my first day of training was October 1st, 2018, and then my first match was Halloween that same month, which is
Okay.
unheard of for how he
Yeah,
trained.
that's quick.
I know people that I wrestle with still to this day that they were on mats learning how to do their rolls for 3 months before they ever got in the ring, and I knew how to do bumps and roll and hit everything
Just
Picked
came
it up quick.
naturally.
by that month.
Yeah.
Damn.
Not everything, but you know what I mean.
The
Enough
first
that I
Well, I'm
wasn't going
sure
to
when
kill
you got a
myself.
good teacher and it comes to you naturally, it helps, and you pick it up quick.
the
Yeah.
first training class I ever did in wrestling, we learned how to do a flat back bump, and then they made us do, I think it was 150 back to back, and we just stayed in a circle, and and he was like, "You're gonna learn conditioning, and you're gonna learn how to do a back bump." And I remember just being like, "Do I want to do this? Like, is this something I want to do?" But
And that's why they make you do shit like that. So you have that thought where it's like, am I really willing to die in the middle of this ring? If you're not, get out.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I made it to day 2. I didn't make it super far in my career. I got to wrestle a couple matches, but it just I don't know, it just didn't work out for me. But I found this avenue, so at least I'm still able to interact with the world. So
Yeah.
that's what I like.
What
So
was your follow-up question?
my follow-up question was going to be, what was there a moment when you were, a kid? Like, did you grow up watching wrestling? Was there a moment that like locked you in? Like, holy shit, I'm a fan.
It's really funny. I feel like there's no actual coincidences in life. It's all just a plan, and you just don't realize it till you're at the end of the plan. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Um, I was born in 1992. I have a brother that's 7 years older than me. So I remember being on the floor playing Pokemon Red on my green Game Boy Color. This is a core memory. Okay,
Brings
core
me
memory.
back, man. I'm
I
right
was
there
in the
with you.
Safari Zone. I was in the Safari Zone and everything. Like I remember what I was doing. And my dad and my brother were all watching TV in the living room, and we're watching Monday Night Raw. And I look up, and the only thing I remember outside of playing my Game Boy is looking up at that TV and seeing Kane and X-Pac versus Gangrel and Christian.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
8 years old. All throughout like my teenage years when I played the games and shit, my finisher was the Impaler. I was a backyarder. My finish was the Impaler. And I didn't like. I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence either.
Yeah.
And then I met him when I was like 25, 26, whatever, however old I was. Um, so there's no way I would have known any of this shit. But
Right.
Edge, Gangrel, Jeff Hardy, Undertaker were always my favorite
Yeah.
growing up. I have a Jeff Hardy tattoo.
I got an Undertaker right here.
Nice.
Our arms have had great matches.
Yeah. I'm a Foley man. That's my guy.
If we're showing it off, I'm going to show off why I'm a fan of the mid card too, bro. I got the Intercontinental title.
Hence, perpetual mid-carder.
Perpetual mid-carder, baby.
I get the question every day just to show everybody it's not painted on. It's a tattoo. It's an actual tattoo. It never leaves my stomach. It hasn't since I was 17.
Yes, I was going to ask, is that I have my 17-year-old, I think mine might have been 16 tattoo. Luckily, you know, somebody was kind enough to, you know, to convince me to put it on my leg versus like getting it right smack in the center of my arm or wherever I wanted to put it. Thank God.
So I drew this up on Photoshop. I'm certified in Photoshop when I was a teenager. So I made like this font, this everything. I own 100% of this.
No shit.
And then I was like, yeah, I want to put it on my body because that's all I did when I was like 14 to 17. Nice.
We all three got the mine's on my bag.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
We take
baby.
I love Wolfpack too. I love it. It's great.
Oh yeah. So that started because we actually started. It was me, Mike, and Cephas was not the original third member.
Okay.
We had a different one of our buddies, but he ended up.
We turned on him, hit him with a chair.
Turned on.
It's crazy.
He went to go work a job where he couldn't do it anymore. And I, like you said, man, coincidences, I don't think there are any because I literally met Bo here at a meet and greet, Danhausen meet and greet. And the only reason I met him is because I overslept and got there late and he was at the back of the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was at the back of the line because of my shirt. I'm sure you heard me talk about the 1,000 days wearing a shirt. I was there in the back of the line because Danhausen said he would do my shirt video that I put up for Guinness every day. He said he would do the video as long as I waited to the end of the line. So when Eric got there, I was like, hey, you can go in front of me. And he was like, oh, okay. And then lo and behold, our chatting led to me coming on as a guest. And then we started doing stuff together even more. And then it just became this. And now we're 2 solid years. Yeah. 2 solid years into doing this together.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, it's cool remembering those core memories. That's why we always like to ask, if you got like a core memory. Because like for me, it's Mankind getting tossed off the ring by Undertaker. Like that was my like holy shit moment.
If you want to talk like pure wrestling, there's a whole other category. But if you want to talk about the greatest wrestling match in history, and you don't think it's that match, I don't want to hear your opinion about wrestling. I really don't, because it didn't just change how people wrestled. It didn't change It didn't just change the perception of wrestling. It changed how people went about their matches.
Yeah.
Whether good
How
good
the
or bad
fuck do you follow
sometimes.
that?
Good or bad sometimes. But
I'll give you that. That makes sense. But I can't stand with that being the greatest match of all time. In my opinion, there is no match better than Undertaker versus Shawn at WrestleMania 25.
it's tied. It's tied. It's
It's
tied for number one.
that light and dark and evil and good
Yeah.
and everything
The
about that.
second one. Yeah. The second one at
Yeah.
26. Yeah.
They're just, I love their whole end of an era series of them and Triple H and
Oh yeah.
all that. Give me
So
that.
good.
I
But
like the
yeah,
whole story they told because they told it through Royal Rumble and everything, and then the
Yep.
follow. That's a 2 year story, and they fucking killed it.
Yep.
Those are the guys running the show now. So yes.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, what is that tapestry behind you with the plug hands? What is that? Is that
I thought it
something
was
that
Doctor Doom at first.
No, that's here.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
really close. So this is my sponsor. This is
Oh, okay.
pull the plug patches.
Oh hell
Um,
yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't have my orange vest on me right now. That's directly from them, but I have a couple of pictures on my socials and stuff of me recently wearing an orange vest. Um, Pull the plug. They work with Anthrax and Slayer and Metallica and Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne and all the biggest bands that are metal, but they actually get the profits from the sales. Like
Okay.
they don't just sell like bootleg bullshit patches.
Right.
They're real patches. One of their things is death to false patches. Um, and I reached out to them and I was like, I love the message. I love the everything. I love everything you guys are doing. I would love to be a part of it in any way I could. We ended up eventually, I just got them in, but I had my own patches from them.
Awesome.
Um, three different kinds of a big oversized one, a regular one with border, and then another one that's oh, forget the it's like it's not like a regular woven patch. It's like just not plastic. I don't even know what to call it, but
Mm-hmm.
um that and they sent me the orange vest. They made that color and they're like, we're gonna give you the first one, you promote it, et cetera, et cetera. They sent me patches and spikes and everything. They sent me this is a couple $100 worth of stuff. Um and I love just telling people about it. Like
Yeah. That's so
I
cool, man.
I've been a metalhead
Made people,
since I was
man.
like 6 years old.
Yeah.
Um, so to be like, I'm on the website. It goes Ozzy Osbourne and then Ozzy Killmeister, and then it goes to the next letter. Like it's surreal.
That's awesome. So
Um,
was that something you got influenced like by your dad or your brother? Like, did they listen to heavy metal, or was it something you kind of found just organically?
so my dad was more of like a classics like Zeppelin and
Yeah.
Who and Pink Floyd, but my brother gave me my first four records. It was Green Day, Dookie, Green Day, um, the Nimrod and Dookie, and then And Justice for All by Metallica and Astro Creeps 2000 by White Zombie.
Bro.
Um, right? And so that kind of just eventually became Cannibal Corpse, eventually became Slayer and Anthrax and
So
Frozen Soul, and just never stopped, man.
I have a similar metal origin story. I went to we call it a yard sale with my grandmother, and she gave me $5 to spend on my own. And I found a
Nice.
cassette tape that had the Judge Dredd drawing for Anthrax's "I Am the Law." And
Yes,
I
yes.
picked that up and I took it home. My grandma was like, "What did I let you buy? Like what?
I
What?"
have that patch. I
Right?
have that the original
Yeah,
Anthrax that the I Am the Law. I have that as a patch. I have that
that's
saved somewhere.
that is so neat. That was my first that and Cypress Hill. I bought both of those tapes that day.
Nice.
Cypress Hill wasn't metal, but both of those definitely
It
changed who I
fits.
was. It
Black
fits.
Sunday.
It
Yes, it was
fits.
Black Sunday. Those were
Oh
the
yeah.
first things I got
Nice.
away from. Was Black Sunday and I can't remember. I Am the Law.
It's
And it
fantastic.
was that and a Sam. There was also a Sam Kinison tape too. That one,
Oh.
that one definitely got me
Oh.
into it as
Oh.
well.
God, Sam Kinison, what a psycho.
Oh man, I'd let him borrow my car if he was still around.
Oh yeah. It's a guardian angel.
It's fucking. You ever seen Polly Shore is Dead? It's a movie that Pauly Shore made where he pretends to fake his death, and it's got like every celebrity in the world in it. From like,
Really?
I mean, seriously, everyone. Dr. Dre, freaking Whoopi Goldberg, all kinds of random people are just in this movie. But he fakes his death, and the ghost of Sam Kinison is basically who convinces him to do it. He's like, "You're better off dead than alive, dude." Like, oh, all right, ghost of Sam Kinison, let me fake my death. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
Look at
that lines up.
I mean, I don't know.
that.
I don't know if you have anything in the chamber after Son-in-Law.
This was 30 years later too. This was post Son-in-Law big time.
Does anybody remember Jesse, the VJ that everybody's supposed
Yes.
to be a VJ contest? I saw a documentary about him the other day. It pretty much ended the way you think it would. Not well.
That sucks. Well, there's so much for hitting him up as a guest, you know.
I know. I think I'm good on that. Nah.
Yeah. So you mentioned playing Pokemon. Was that your first foray into gaming? You always been a gamer?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your
One more.
first?
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Snorlax.
Oh shit.
Love it.
Bro, do you want to go do karate in the garage? I think we're best friends now.
I
Andy right here. Okay. Where the fuck is he?
Just kids and our toys.
telling you, man, that's
Got my dragon.
wait.
Yours is bigger than mine.
Mine's bigger.
It's okay that mine's not movie quality.
It's okay that mine's not movie quality.
Yes, dude. The addiction has ran forever. I quit Pokemon when I turned like 18-ish. I didn't play from I didn't play X and Y till like probably Black and White. I didn't play in that whole genre. And then when I turned like 26 and we started having children, I was like, well, fuck, I need Pokemon now. And I've played every game since, and I own at least one of every we call it not every
generation.
Yeah, generation. At least
Nice.
one of every generation. So I've played through everything.
Nice.
We even got Mike to play one.
Yeah.
He got a Nintendo Switch and he played what was it? Let's Go Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like it? I loved it. I thought it was a mindless way to play the first game.
Pokemon was like, excuse me. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 80s, so like it was I wasn't really.
My brother was born in '85, so I got all his hand-me-downs. So I understand all of it.
Dude, I was G.I. Joe, He-Man, fucking Matchbox cars.
Ninja Turtles. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, man.
I had my God, what I wouldn't do to have just a half of the toys that I had back then.
Yeah.
I had Snake
So
Mountain.
like, I was looking at Target for stuff for my kid last minute, and they have the pizza launcher from the '80s. So like, you put the little pizza disc in, it looks like a tank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have it.
Oh yeah.
Just remade, resold, just it's ridiculous.
But that's a beautiful thing about having a son is that you get to go back and relive all that, and they've retroed everything. So I mean, my son's 17 now, but we've already been through that. But I mean, he was a child when they're bringing out all the new Marvel movies and stuff like that. So that was great to live through with him.
Yeah, that's cool.
I pushed my son into wrestling. I pushed my son into video games, but he found the Turtles on his own, and that makes me so fucking happy that we both just organically became Turtles guys when we were young.
My kid loves Ninja Turtles.
No.
Who's his turtle?
Realistically, Leo, but he likes Donnie.
Okay.
I'm more of a
guy.
Michelangelo.
Same.
My brother was the Raph, so
Same.
that.
Yeah, I was always a Raph guy.
To be Raph, but I was Michelangelo. The scene where he's fighting on the roof when he's mad, I was like, oh yeah, the Raph's cool.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I always wanted to be Raph, but I remember I had like this purple shirt when I was a kid that was like the exact purple of Donatello, and I remember ripping one of the sleeves off, and I made
Yes.
eye mask, and I would just wear it around. Like, there's a picture of me, like me and my dad, like out in the garden, like landscaping, and I just have like a shovel and my like just t-shirt and shorts, and then my Ninja Turtles homemade Donatello mask.
This is the same exact color. By God.
Well,
What exactly
guess
what
what
this
we're
is.
doing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Eric, that was a perfectly good shirt.
Probably, I don't know, but I thought I was cool.
So
It's like when you find a really good stick for like being a sword.
Oh man, it was the best.
Yep.
The best.
were you just drinking OE? Was that what that was? Was that Old English?
Liquid
Oh, so
death.
Liquid.
I was about to say, damn,
Damn it from the old school.
not even making a face. That dude drinks. He's just drinking OE.
Old
like,
English 800.
not even a grimace.
So, I'm sober Sandman, brother. It's just water.
Oh, I was like, damn,
Not
he
just
loves.
any old.
I'm dude. I'm on the sparkling water train heavy right now. I quit drinking pop. Like, I'll have one every now and again, but I'm a sparkling water man through and through.
This is my problem right now. It's Red Bulls. I can't stop.
Red Bull.
Can't stop.
I drink like 2 Celsius a day too, so I get the energy drink thing.
Sucks, man. You know, who knows what kind of crazy, freaking weird cancers we're going to have in 20 years with all these overabundances of taurines and stuff that we've been.
I just have 2 cups of coffee a day. That's it.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
off the energy drink train. I used to be on them like crazy when I worked night shift. I worked night shift for like 11 years straight, and then once
get
I
that.
day shift job, I was like, I don't want to drink a Monster at 6 a.m. I want a cup of coffee, because like I always
That's
loved
fair.
coffee, but it was like Monster just made sense at night for me.
Yeah.
It was weird, like in my head, it just made sense. And then when I started, waking up at 6 a.m. to go to work, it's like, I want a hot cup of coffee on the way to work. So
Yeah, that's fair.
that's how it went.
Yeah. So, as far as wrestling goes, man, now that you said you've been going since like 2018. Now that you're in the thicket of wrestling, do you still find time to watch it, or does it?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Wow.
So I am a student of the game, and that's not like sounds so stupid when you're like, I'm trying to be humble and you just spit out some dumb shit. But like I've been told by people that are very high up in the industry that yeah, I'm a student of the game because before I go to bed every night, I just put on a random pay-per-view and I'll just watch it until I get bored and then I go to bed. On top of studying my own tape, studying people that I'm wrestling, and studying stuff that's just popping on the indies or throwback stuff from like ROH or PWG or Japan.
Right. Do you have any
Uh,
certain old talent that you like watching, or somebody you've learned a lot from? Like, you just watched an old match of theirs and you're like, damn.
so for a while, I was just doing headbutts. That's all I was doing was headbutting people. And then I was doing it too much. Thank you. And it's because of watching guys like Masawa and how he implements the elbow just so many different ways. That's the idea that I was going for. But then uh, sometimes you can't control the character evolution, and it just evolved and it got worse. And now I just have to headbutt somebody once. So it's much easier. Um, but I love watching guys like Danielson from ROH, AJ Styles in that prime TNA where he just every match he would pull something new out or some kind of variation to get into a Styles
So
clash.
good.
It's crazy because like it's like when you learn how to make movies. You watch a movie your whole life and you understand that it's it's put out there and people film things and etc. But to like understand how an actor gets into that state of mind and rehearses and shit, it's the same thing with wrestling. When you learn how to put stuff together and you learn how to set things up and tell stories through wrestling, it's watching stuff like that is just like a cinephile, just like, oh, just flipping out over everything. I love it.
It's crazy, man. My wife, or not my wife, but my daughter and I are trying to make a horror movie, and we've been watching stuff, and that's what's been crazy is to pick it apart. I'm watching it in a way that I never do. That's kind of what it feels like with going. I go to bed with a horror movie now. Like, what scary movie am I going to watch to go to bed?
Right.
But even fun. Like we actually have made shows out of going back and watching classic pay-per-views, just with, kind of smarter eyes and, more, what to look for. And it's amazing how much would still hold up today.
Oh, dude. Anything from 1996, like the middle of it, to like 2009, for the most part, across the board, pretty much holds up still.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and you can even go back further than that. Like, man, Brett and Owen at WrestleMania 10. Like, we went back and watched that match. Me and Mike were just, this was what,
it's
probably
one of the best
a year and
matches
a
in
half ago,
history.
something like that. But we watched that and we're just like, I would watch this match. Like, this looks like a match on an AEW pay-per-view or something, just with like how technically sound it is, and you can just tell they're out there like we're the fucking best.
Yeah.
We talked about WrestleMania 25 earlier when I mentioned that being my favorite match. Another match from that card that stands out to me like that is Matt and Jeff Hardy. That was one of the matches that just stuck out. Brother versus brother. They really, like, that's what I was hoping for with the Usos this past year, but it's just kind of a different story. Yeah, I hated that. I wondered how much that was their fault. I don't think
liked the story. I don't like 25 super kicks, but that's me.
That was my sole complaint. I was like, they just super kicked each other to death, and it was terrible.
I liked it, but it's like, I mean, to be fair, I feel the same way about the Matt and Jeff match. It was a great match, but knowing everything that Matt and Jeff have put themselves through as a team and as singles competitors, I don't know. It just seems weird.
like they did.
It had a weird, vibe to the match, in my opinion.
It did feel a little forced with Matt turning on him like that in a way. It almost felt like it was like, okay, we want these guys to work together, so one of them has to be a bad guy.
Right. And it's like the heel turn came out of nowhere, and it's not always the best thing that something comes out of nowhere. Because it was so unexpected that it was like, well, what the fuck is going on?
I'll give you that. I don't know. Maybe for me it was because Matt and Jeff were the ones that when I got into training and wrestling, I was like, I want to be those guys. I want to be Matt Hardy. I always liked the fact that he was the base, the technical god, like compared to the high fly, all the girls love him, Jeff. I always liked him. So I don't know. It's interesting to see different views on that because I've never honestly really thought about it like that. But now that you say that, it does seem like it was a little forced. Like it was like, oh, we're gonna make these brothers fight. Here's a reason.
Basically,
I killed your dog in a fire. What?
I like to go back and watch the Briscoe brothers when they fought each other and see how that. Because I can't I haven't seen anything in a long, long time, so I'd like to see how they played out a brother versus brother feud.
and that's, if I could go back to CCW for just a second. This is why people, they don't, we run a lot of shows, but not every show gets posted. And sometimes it'll take a couple of weeks, couple of months to get certain footage out. If we, which we are soon, fingers crossed, soon everybody will be able to see our stuff on a better scale, on a more consistent scale. But we do have a show every week on YouTube called CCW Live, YouTube 7 p.m. Just shameless plug. But Eddie Valentine, if you don't know who Eddie Valentine is, he helped train the Briscoes. He helped train Rich Swann. He helped train a lot of fucking people that are on the indies today or signed to AEW or WWE that are absolutely killing it. And he just won our Royal Rumble style match in January, and how he's the king of the territory because we are the last territory, because you get it.
Yeah.
That's just the fact that we have Gangrel, Eddie Valentine, um, Ariel Levy is a Spanish commentator for AEW. He is our longest reigning world champion. He's not champion anymore, but he was. We got guys like the Crown who have been on the independents for 12 plus years. They're real brothers. They're 6'4", 6'5", however tall they are, both of them. They can pick up and throw any human being that I've ever met in my life. And they're basically the reincarnation of the Road Warriors in modern era, but
Love that.
as fucking no fucks given as APA. And that's just like a very small taste of what our roster is. We have so many people that just deserve the exposure. It's man. I want to bring some of these guys to Revolver. I want to bring some of these guys.
Yeah.
Like we go to Nashville. We go to Nashville, Tennessee every month now. Actually, it's every month we go to Nashville, Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah. We have a really cool fan base. Really, everywhere we go, it's crazy. Like we're very blessed to have huge, huge audiences at every show. Like there's a lot of companies in Florida, as everyone probably watching knows. It's kind of like a wasteland.
There's a lot.
There's so many promotions that don't see the light of day that a lot of them don't deserve to see the light of day. But like, man, I don't even know how to explain it.
Them Floridians
Remember,
are good, though.
oh, shoot, tell me.
They're tipping cats down there.
80% of our shows are in breweries, and in July and August and September, it's 100 plus degrees.
Woo.
And you got 500, 600 people, 1,000 people in a building all smacked together like sardines. It just makes everything so much worse.
Or better.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of shows in Florida that they're lucky if they get 20, 30, 50 people. And we had almost 200 people at our school 2 days ago, 3 days after Christmas.
That goes to show.
Wow.
That's your guys are doing quality
We're
stuff.
we're doing big things. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
We're fucking all of us are killing each other. Like that was our 83rd show this year. 83 shows. 1 year.
There's only 52.
And I was on exactly. And I was on 78 of them for just CCW.
Good Lord, man.
So I think the final number is like 88 or 89 for me for this year. I don't miss a day of work.
You stay on a pretty solid schedule with them with the random sporadic dates in between, basically? Is that how you roll?
We had 4 weekends off this whole year.
Sounds like my job.
And dude, I haven't missed a show that I wasn't like the only time I've missed shows this year is because I was booked on helping security and set up for TNA, for MLW. And when I was at Revolver, these are the only times I've missed shows this year.
Wow.
I love that TNA is good again. I'm not that they were bad, but I mean, like getting back to like you talked about AJ Styles in those days, man. I love six-sided ring just because it was different and it was distinctly theirs. Yeah, it's just so cool, man. Then
Hogan so much more.
I think TNA is so cool for us because a lot of these guys are like our contemporaries. Some of them are at this point they're our friends, but it's cool to see people that we know and respect and like get their time on the TV. Like I'm not sure if you're aware who he is, but Damian Chambers is one of our guys around this area. And like we star written all over him. You know what I mean? So it's like we're counting the days till we can't get him on an interview anymore. You know, because like we're gonna have to go through his agent. You know, I got to
get that.
I want to take a second here because you mentioned the vest, so I looked up a picture. I want to show everybody who's watching with us. Look how fucking cool that is.
Oh,
that's dope.
That is way cooler than I imagined.
I made that graphic too.
Shit. As a Bengals fan, I need that vest. You know what I mean? Any type of orange and black, I'm in. That's why I was a fan of
Go
Tag.
Pack, go, brother. Go
Go
Pack,
Pack,
go.
go. It's been
Hey,
a
you
been
know
a
what?
year.
If I wasn't a Bengals fan, I would be a Packers fan.
I'm actually the same way, and that's because I loved Brett Favre when I was a kid. He was the man. And, obviously it is what it is now, but I just always thought the traditions in Lambeau were really cool.
Yeah.
Lambeau's still one of the places I haven't went that I need to go. Like when I went to Madison Garden, I was like, okay, that's off the list. Lambeau's on that list.
I walked outside of Madison Square Garden. I didn't go inside, but I saw it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Mecca.
I really want to. I kind of want to get specific with it too. I want to see a snow game at Lambeau, like a fucking cold, frozen tundra Lambeau.
I'm good on that. I'll watch it from the hotel.
Well, I know. Mike gets chilly.
You guys go freeze.
Good. I'm good.
No, I just growing up, I played football since I was 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever it was when I started. And I remember, like, my dad would show me all the old, like, NFL films and on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Like, I remember watching those as a kid and just being like, yes!
Real football.
So, with your name, brother, obviously having two major rock and roll inspirations, were you able to see both of those guys? Did you get a chance to see them both live?
I have not seen Ozzy, but I got to see Motorhead at a Mayhem.
Same.
2000 and I think it was 12 or 13 that it was like Anthrax was, it was like, I know Motorhead was on main stage, and then I think Slipknot and Slayer.
Yeah.
And then they had another band on there, but like Machine Head, Amur, Children of Bodom, Whitechapel, bro.
I'll never forget seeing Louis that night because he made one of the coolest stage quotes. I'm in a band as well, so I look for cool things to do and say, right? So they did 3 songs, came out badass, blah, 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 blah. He's like, well, my name's Lemmy. I'm a fucking rock god. I've done 3 songs. Now I think I just have a whiskey and a joint. What do you think?
I love that.
Like, see, that's how I make it part of my act. And he smoked a joint and then started playing again. Like, it was really cool, man. I was like, all right.
Lemmy is my soul, my soul animal, my animal.
Oh man, I saw a tattoo the other day. Somebody got Lemmy on their chest and used their nipple for his mole, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking brilliant!"
Oh God. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, get creative with it, man.
I got a fucking Intercontinental Championship across my belly. I can't say shit about weird tattoos.
Yeah.
I got a Snorlax on my leg. I get it.
That's still not your funniest one. The funniest one's definitely the Swayze one.
My Swayze. I have Patrick Swayze as a centaur on my leg, and instead of saying Roadhouse, it says Road Horse. I just get weird shit. It's fun. So, are you familiar with Cheese Coney's being there in Florida? I don't know if you guys have a Skyline in that area, but
that's Skyline down there.
I've never been, but I know what you're talking about. Oh my God, he's got the fucking dog.
I just get weird shit. I have a guy jumping on a trampoline on my hand. I got courage, a bunch of random shit. I just find shit I like. My brother made the comment to me the other day, and it kind of fucking blew my mind. He was like, every tattoo you have is a tattoo that you also would have got at 16. I was like, damn. He's like, your adult decision was to get a cheese coney on your belly. He's like, you would have done that at 16 too. I was like, damn, you're right.
You're right.
Touche.
Fair.
Sure.
I still remember the first time I saw the Road Horse.
I remember too.
I was walking behind him, and I just remember looking at his leg. I'm like, is that a fucking centaur? And then I look closer, and it's
Patrick
top
Swayze.
half is Swayze. And then there's just a little speech bubble, and it just says Road Horse.
And to clarify, it's Patrick Swayze from the episode of Saturday Night Live when he was in Chippendales.
Yeah, it's got.
Oh my God! What the fuck even is that, bro? Oh my God! There's just layers of fucked up.
Now the IC title doesn't seem so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, by comparison. Fuck, I thought my Snorlax was weird, man.
We're all a little
Really
fucked,
normal.
man. You know, we grew up on all
You gotta
these
be fucking weird to be a wrestler or a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Happy Meals and MSG in our foods, and you know that's why we're all weird a little bit.
Be weird, be
Chinese
unique, be
place
fun.
knows me by first name.
Well, man, you have any plans on trying to get out to Cincinnati or maybe to Dayton for one of them Revolver shows? We'd love to have you up here, man.
I would love to.
If it ever helps, you got a free couch in either Northern Kentucky or Cincinnati. If you need one to come do an event up here, we'll hook you up.
It does help actually, and I appreciate that. I hope I can make it back out to Revolver at least once this year.
Yeah.
I mean, were you guys there at
The one
Texas
time we didn't
or
go to
Iowa?
in Iowa, the one time we didn't go to Iowa was the one you were there. We generally try to take an Iowa on and Iowa off because it's 590 miles for us, another 100 for them because they're even farther south than me. So
Yeah,
You
we
guys
drive. We
drive
don't
that?
fly it. We
Yeah.
drive it.
Yeah, we drive it. We're
Wow,
dedicated fans, brother. We like pro wrestling.
there's
I drove all the way out to
man.
Philly by myself for Mania. You know what I mean? So, which
So
paid off. So,
wow. I mean, I've flown myself out for manias and stuff, but never actually been to WrestleMania. Uh, just go with the hopes of maybe. You never know.
yeah.
You can't get nothing if you're not there.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
But
he went and fucking just by himself and just kind of found his way into like every situation. And if he
I
would
met
have been with anybody else, a lot of these shit wouldn't have happened. So I mean, it's
I
putting
got to get
yourself
drunk
there.
with Claire, meet Kurt Angle. It was an insane time, and
nuts.
because I decided to go by myself. I was gonna not go because no one could go with me, you know. But one thing led to another. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going. Cody's gonna win this time for sure. He has to. Otherwise, Philadelphia is gonna fall to pieces. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely
Um, it's
interesting.
funny that you say that though, man, because there's so many people that like there's a couple of guys in Florida that are getting out of Florida and making names for themselves. Um, but I know that there's people out there that won't even drive 20 miles to go see a show for $10. You guys are driving 600 miles. It's
For
Yeah.
more
Revolver,
than dedication.
if you give us a match that's worth going, you can talk us three into going. You know what I mean? Like,
It
the
shows
first time we
you
went to Revolver in Iowa, it was because they were doing Tommy Dreamer versus Damian Chambers. And we were like, fuck.
Wow,
I literally made a sign that says I drove 590 miles to see Dreamer hurt Chambers. And it was
that's
just,
awesome.
it was great. They used my sign in the match and everything.
Yeah,
All
we taped his sign to a chair, and Dreamer took Chambers and slammed his head into the chair.
Oh, that's great.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
That's
great.
what I do it for. You know what I mean? I want to go see wrestling in cool places and do cool shit with cool people.
That's that's the goal, right?
Yeah. So we have, like I told you before we started, we don't really have like a structure. You know what I mean? We don't, but we do
obviously.
have a few solid questions that we try to ask every time. And Mike generally is the purveyor of that question. So Mike, you want to hit him?
Absolutely. We as dads are very budget-minded individuals. You being a dad yourself, not that we judge people, but we like to know, what do you keep your thermostat set to?
Oh man.
Mhm.
So I live in Florida, so I don't think it goes above or below 76.
Bro, we had Steve Kern
And
on
it's
who said the same shit. He's like, I wish it would be 80. What?
I would if I had control over it, I have a roommate and I don't want her to freeze, but I have a fan that's in my face full blast at night, and then I have a ceiling fan and I still sweat.
Yeah.
So uh
I get it. I love that you're like, it's 76. I don't want her to freeze, man. I'm sitting at like 68 right now, and I'm like, it's a little toasty in this motherfucker.
How is 68 toasty? Oh, damn.
Jesus Christ.
I am a sweaty, large man.
Well, it's
dude.
40.
I get it.
30 and 40 outside. 68 feels
I
nice.
get it.
Not as good as 69.
Hey,
True that.
Hey, ooh.
True
yeah,
that.
man. So what you won that title in October, right? Your
May,
May? Oh, five
May.
ten. Okay, they just did it backwards in the dates because I read it off of a European website.
Cage. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But either way, they do the date backwards. Either way, that's a significant amount of time to hold any championship, let alone one of their seems to be a often defended title. From what I see in your little cage match there, it looks like they're putting you to work a lot.
I I hit the most defenses for this title 6 defenses ago, 7 defenses ago.
Oh,
I'm at
shit.
like 23 or 24.
Wow.
It shows
Fighting
you
So
champion.
match. I was like, damn, every match he does is for that title. Like,
for the most, I have a tag team called Monster Mosh,
I
and it's
love it.
me and my buddy Skits, who's from up from Wisconsin, Frontline Pro
Okay.
area. You can check his stuff out too. It's Holy Skits on Instagram. But me and him, we wrestled the Iron Savages in Tampa a couple months ago. Uh,
Hell
we
yeah.
we right now we're trying to get the tag titles because I want to be a double champ.
Okay.
Um,
Blue team.
and we have another guy who his name is Agony. He
I thought
is
that's
another one of those guys that's just he's been in CCW for so long and he's wrestled the great Sasuke. He's been in the ring with Mick Foley. He's wrestled a legit list of legends through CCW. But he's never gotten like a lot of outside exposure. Um, Same thing. Like, dude, MVP, you guys know MVP.
hmm
Hmm.
MVP trained, he trained at our school at CCW, and then he got signed from our school.
Oh
Like
no
he
shit.
he went from training, got signed, went right to WWE.
Wow.
Um, and he's one of those guys that he never forgot where he came from, and he comes back all the time and does seminars and talks to us, and he's really nice. He's really grateful for everything that he earned from the people that are showing us what to do still.
Love that.
So speaking of you being from Florida, I gotta ask, since he's been a two-time guest of our show, are you familiar with a local talent down there named the Cheese?
I love the cheese. I love the cheese.
Dude, he's
He's probably the only guy in Florida that might be outselling me in merch.
bro.
Yeah.
Might.
He's got a good thing going.
He's good. He's good.
I
But
got my little.
I've
Never seen him wrestle, but I got my little cheese right here.
Oh
Look at
my God, look at all this cheese merch.
He sent it. He sent it
man,
to
man.
us.
he
Friend of
He
the
said
sent
show.
it to us.
no, but still.
Oh, well, now I have to one up him. So you got to give me the information and I'll send you guys stuff.
I'm here
I got
for it,
like
dude.
12 stickers, bro.
I've been debating starting a vest.
Yeah,
Because
me too.
I have a pin collection right now.
Okay.
I've been debating starting a vest, but I do have some patches too. So
Okay. I'm telling you, I'll throw some patches in there too with the everything. I'll take care of you.
hell yeah, dude.
Well, Ozzy, man,
Well, we're
one thing
turning
I've noticed throughout this conversation is, man, you've been very humble, and you seem to give everybody else their flowers. And I mean, you kind of ran down the whole CCW roster and kind of like gave a little promo on everybody. I like to hear you talk about yourself for a second. Just talk about Ozzy Killmeister, the wrestler, who give us a good just who is Ozzy Killmeister in a short. Doesn't have to be short. Do your thing,
I
dog.
mean, I'm the most metalhead in pro wrestling. It's not a funny moniker, it's the truth. Um, I I don't like the tattoo in my stomach I got when I was 17 because I had already been moshing for 3 years. And now almost literally 16 years later, 15 years later, whatever it is, I'm really bad at math. I try to find time for shows, but now I feel bad because now I'm a lot stronger than I was when I was 17. I'm a lot bigger than I was when I was 17. So when I spin kick people, I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I don't care. and just keep going. Um, there's a famous, not famous quote, but there was a quote from Randy Orton back when Twitter was like still brand new, and he posted, he's like, I remember being in the mosh pit 2 years ago, and now I'm afraid to get in there because now my body is worth money.
That's fair.
I'm nobody. You said about me being humble. I'm nobody, man. I love wrestling with every fiber of my being, and I just want to be a part of it any way that I can. I've done every job that you could imagine in wrestling, between pulling cables, being a security guard, doing sound, doing time backstage. You name it. I've put matches together. I've put cards together. I've put championships on people. At least helped. Um, I've helped people get their finishing moves that they're using on AEW and WWE. I've hung out and partied with people that I could only dream of. Um, like we were doing a random show for like a corporation. Like they were like, "Oh, enjoy some free food and watch some people wrestle and take some time off." And I did that show with Gangrel, Jackal Stevens, Carlito,
That's cool.
Harley Cameron, just a bunch of our guys like S2S, Alan Martinez, and just a bunch of people. And we went out afterwards, and it was Carlito's birthday, and we just hung out and did shots of Carlito. 15-year-old me shitting themselves at the even concept of something like that. Not to
Right.
be a mark, but it's just you love something so long, and then you feel like you have like a little space carved out just so you can be a part of it.
I gotta say this though. You said like, not to be a mark. I personally am. I love being a mark because there was a time not that long ago where I got so invested in like dissecting the weekly shows and being a smart mark, and and I still do it when I watch the show, but I got to the point where I was like, I'm not enjoying this at all. And
Right. You're just picking it apart.
Yeah, I'm just picking it apart. I'm not enjoying it. And there's still, I'll watch a match and I'll just be like, oh, that should have done that or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just watch it to be a fan and be a mark. And it makes wrestling so much better, in my opinion, like from my fan standpoint.
I feel like that's the biggest problem with like the whole WWE AEW fake rivalry that literally doesn't exist besides in the fans' heads. Like,
Yeah, it really
dude, it's
is.
wrestling. It's two different products. It's not meant to be competing against each other. It's not it's not 90s. It's not
This
WCW
isn't
versus WWE.
WCW, WWF. Yeah.
You can't even compare the two. Like, Tony Khan has more money in his wallet than Hulk Hogan made the entire tenure. Who cares what he has and what they have? Watch the show, enjoy it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Yeah.
It's just
pretty simple.
really easy. People just love to hate things, and they like to feel like their hate is validated, but they don't know shit.
Right.
And that's why they're fucking posers.
That's
Yes,
the same.
But
finally.
That's what I got to that point where I was just picking shit apart and bitching and moaning and this and that. And it was, it wasn't strictly AEW. It wasn't strictly WWE. It was just like I found everything negative and just amplified that. And then
Because that's what you're looking for.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I pulled myself back from that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to watch the show, and I'm going to like what I like. And you know what? I've enjoyed watching wrestling a whole fucking lot more. And I think it was when we started going to Revolver, because I was like, I'm having so much fucking fun at these shows. And guess what? It's because I'm not dissecting everything. I'm just
right. You're just enjoying it
and rooting, and I'm like, I need to go back to that. And I did. And so this is just a message to everybody out there bitching and moaning about so-and-so or whatever. There's no fucking rivalry. Just fucking watch wrestling and enjoy it.
and don't be a poser.
Exactly. Just absorb it. I know some people aren't for Danhausen, but you know what? I am. I fucking love Danhausen. A lot of people might want their, Dean Malenko versus Chris Jericho match. I would rather see Danhausen versus Dan the Dad. You know what I mean? So I
have the mug. I love Dan the Dad.
He's a former.
I did it.
rest of the show as well?
Yes, there we go.
Come
It
on.
was me and Skits and Dan the Dad, and we took on Eddie Valentine, a guy named Joe Garcia, that's a rookie up and coming in CCW, and a living legend that nobody realized. I saw that's good.
It was just next to Dan the Dad. It's just
Have you guys heard the name Alex Chamberlain?
I
Sounds
feel like I have.
yeah.
He's been wrestling for 20 years, all over the Northeast, all over everywhere. He's been world champion, heavyweight champion in so many organizations. He's from Bangor, Maine. He's another guy on our roster that's a veteran that it's not even just great to learn from him. It's how he takes care of himself, how he condones himself, conducts himself inside the ring, outside the ring. He's one of the leaders that we have guiding us to where we all want to be. And another guy that doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
that shit is priceless, man. When you have somebody there that really wants to pay it forward in a way, you know what I mean? It helps a lot.
If I could say, right, the greatest asset outside of Gangrel that CCW has ever had was Kevin Sullivan came in
Wow.
and personally started working with all of us, our matches, our story, our shows as a whole, everything. He was so giving and so kind, literally up until the end. He was he was messaging my boss the day before he passed away about, hey, what are you doing next week with this? And what are you doing with this guy? And what are you doing with that? He's in his hospital bed, like, and he was so he loved wrestling literally to the day he died, and he cared
Yeah.
about all of us so much. Like, and the only thing that I can do to repay him is take what he gave me, which is my actual finish, and just not fucking not be a piece of shit,
Yeah.
and just be a good example of everything that he taught us, man.
You know, you talk about things coming full circle a couple times. We were blessed enough to have the last podcast appearances from Kevin Sullivan. He did a segment on our show. We have a graphic here. We called it Tussle with
Hustling with that. That's awesome.
He would call Tussle, and Tussle would hold the phone up, and he'd talk to, and he would we would just ask him one question, and he would just go
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, just talk and talk and
fantastic,
talk,
too.
and I'm sitting there like a freaking kid at Christmas, just like,
Right? Yeah, dude. Because
stow
he's
your
so.
knowledge, please.
If even if you look beyond the fact that he was one of the core reasons that WCW beat WWF in the '90s,
Yep.
he's been everywhere and anywhere. He's worked with every type of person, and 50 years, 60 years, he was in the business. Like he saw it all and did it all. You know.
He
Yeah.
came on our show in the earlier parts. Like it was, we had, you know what I mean? We have way more viewers now than we did then. We'll just put it that way. And he still
Okay.
saw fit to come on our show and be cool to us. Granted, a lot of it was because he's very cool with Tussle. But, you know, it's still, you know what I mean? It's my dad,
I
if I
think
didn't live long enough to see Kevin Sullivan on my wrestling show, my dad would have shit his pants. So, you know, it's cool.
I think I don't know if I could be wrong, but I think Tussle met Kevin Sullivan at CCW because they came in around a similar
I
time
feel like I remember him telling us that. Yeah.
I think that's the case.
frame. I think in California too. I think they were riding around together a little bit. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tussle told us quite a few stories about them, man. They're, you know, it's a shame to lose him when we did it, but you know, at least he was able to spread his magic around for a while. You know, so
Yes.
long live Kevin Sullivan.
And
Absolutely.
I the move that he gave me, I dubbed Raining Blood because Slayer. Um, all my finishers are named after, like, I do a ripcord headbutt. It's called Whiplash, Metallica.
Okay,
Um, you get it. Uh, Kevin looks at me and he's like, "Kid, why don't you do the top rope headbutt while they're standing?"
Oh,
And I was like, "You want me to jump off the top rope and just nail them? They were like, yeah, kill them, kid. Okay, let's try it. And 100% success rate. So it's gonna stay that way.
Heck
That's
yeah,
a
dude.
little piece of Kevin that I walk around with basically.
And the I hope one day I see you do that move in some kind of hardcore match where you're busted open and it's quite literally raining blood as you come down on somebody.
That's
The craziest version of that move that I've done yet was I jumped off a ladder while I was in the ring.
Oh, jeez.
And I was in the rafters of the building. Like I was literally holding on to the ceiling to reposition my foot and jumped right off the top and nailed the guy.
Damn.
I never get up.
Mick Foley's one of my favorites. Mick Foley
Dude,
is absolutely one of my favorites.
that's my guy.
Um,
I got
I
to
want
meet
to take
him a
it.
couple years back. What a fucking he's the man.
Character.
There's Mike took a picture of me meeting him, and you just see the pure 8-year-old boy joy
Just
on my face.
ear to ear, just
Awesome.
I use it in graphics all the time because it's great. Just
So I have like I didn't go to wrestling like when I was younger. I think the first wrestling show I got to go to, I was like 14 or 15.
same.
But the first time I saw a wrestler out in the wild was like the most random, you would never even think of it. We were at Universal Studios and we were at some kind of resort not far from it. And we're having dinner and there's a DJ and he's like elevated and you can see him. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I know who that is. I know who that fucking is. No way. There's no way. I walk up to go request a song and it's Father James Mitchell.
Oh,
And I go, I know who you are. And he's like, all right, give me like 2 more songs and I'll take a picture with you. And I was like, okay. And my mom and dad came over and they took a picture on their flip phone. I don't have it, but they took a picture on their flip phone of him with his hands around my neck. And he's just like, ah. And like, man, that moment, and I've met him and I've got to express my gratitude for that moment now, being a wrestler. But like, if I didn't have that kind of interaction, such a positive wrestling interaction like that, I probably wouldn't even love wrestling, and I probably wouldn't be able to have that type of power because that's what a lot of wrestlers forget is, I mean, all of us are here because of wrestling.
Yep.
Whether you've had an experience or haven't had an experience with a wrestler, people that haven't, etc. You were here because you had a good experience or a good memory. You know what I mean? Like that shit's invaluable. But as a wrestler, I have that power sometimes to make a kid's day, and I will never squander that or abuse that because that's priceless. I don't making money is awesome. I love selling merch, but if I can make a kid's day and sign an 8x10 and give it to him and take a picture with him, it doesn't cost me anything. I don't care.
That's like
the kid's gonna remember it for the rest of his life.
Yeah. That's Steve tells the story all the time about when he met Roddy Piper. Yeah.
I met Roddy Piper. And I had just started my band, and it was like I told Piper, I was like, look, I kind of quit my wrestling career, but I still want to do entertaining, and I'm doing this band. I was like, is there any advice that you can give me that would correlate to the band world? And he's like, whatever you do, make sure that anybody who wants to meet you, even if you're having the worst day of your life, you take that 5 minutes and you make that the best 5 minutes they possibly can, because to you, it's just those 5 minutes that you're pissed off. For them, it could be a lifetime memory. And I've rolled with that ever since. Anytime anybody wants any type of photo, or yes, you can. I will take a photo right now.
Of course.
That's what it's all about.
That's literally what it's all about. And a lot of people think it's cool moves and all this other dumb shit, and it's not.
That's to get the reactions, and that's to invoke the emotions, and that's to make people feel, and that's what it's at the core of it all.
And if you're good at your job and your profession, you can do that without Canadian destroyers.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Unless you're Tussle. Tussle needs to do Canadian destroyers all the time.
Tussle doing the Tussle Destroyer is money. I don't.
Yeah.
We're gonna take that away from him. Tussle
Man,
Splash,
he did
Tussle
it. He did
Destroyer.
it in our beanie too, which made
Yeah.
me even happier.
It's awesome.
Well, Ozzy, you got anything you want to promote before we wrap this thing up tonight?
ccwrestlingfl.com. Don't be a poser. Buy some merch. Buy some tickets. Subscribe to the DWO podcast, Dad World Order. Don't be a poser. And Mosh forever.
Fuck yeah, boys.
Couldn't said any better.
Fuck yeah, brother.
You boys got anything?
What about on the socials? You at Ozzy Killmeister on everything?
Instagram is Ozzy Killmeister CCW. Facebook and X and TikTok are Ozzy Killmeister.
Hell yeah, brother.
Pro wrestling tees, all of it.
If you
All
don't
that
know him,
good
you
stuff.
haven't seen him, look him up. It's all very, very, very entertaining.
Thank you.
Really,
We
is.
wouldn't bring him on if he wasn't entertaining. Come on, guys.
That is true. Well, yeah. We'll definitely chat after we go off live here. But before we get out of here, as always, we have been the DWO podcast. I am Big Rig Eric Maffey. He is Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas, and he is the most metalhead in pro wrestling, the Macho Man, Ozzy Killmeister. Thank you so much again for coming on, man. As always, check us out on all
Thank you for having me.
DW_podcast, Facebook at the DWO podcast, TikTok at DW_pod. Get that dad merch at Pro Wrestling Tees and T Public. Like, subscribe, listen, follow, all that good stuff. And yeah, until next time, man. Top dads out.